作りましょう作りましょうさてさて何ができるかな
Okay, so first step we're going to do for making Oyako don is we are going to do our mise en place, which is measuring out and cutting up everything ahead of time. So when you cook, it'll just go much faster. So first measure out our dashi. So we're going to do a little less than 1/4 cup of water because we are using first dashi stock, which is very, very concentrated. So if you just poured out a 1/4 cup of this, it would just be way, way too salty and you just wouldn't be able to eat it at all. They do sell second dashi stock, but this is what I have, so this is what I am showing you. Okay, so we've put in enough dashi to raise it up to 1/4 cup. Next, we're measuring out our soy sauce. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Pick up the lid there. It's a little crusty. Okay. I'm just doing it over the sink because it's going to splash up at you with that little plastic top on there. Okay, so 1 tablespoon, just like that. And now we're going to measure out our mirin. This is aji mirin, which is Japanese sweet cooking wine. This is actually a new one, so I got to pull this tab out real quick. We're going to do 2 3/4 teaspoons. The reason we're doing that instead of just 1 tablespoon is that this recipe actually called for 2 1/4 teaspoons and then some brown sugar, but since this is sweet, I don't think I need to add any more sugar, so we're just doing 2 3/4. Alright, and next we're going to cut up an onion. Now don't worry, this whole thing isn't going in there, just going to do 1/4 of an onion, so cut it in half, and then we will peel the skin off of the other half because we don't want to get any skin in our food because it's gross. It's like eating paper. I don't want to eat paper, even if it's on top of cheese. Haha, made a joke at your expense. Alright, so cut off the stem, and then cut off the root. Alright, and then going to slice it. Let me turn it here. Okay. And I'm slicing it diagonally so that it's just a bit more uniform, but you can just cut just straight up and down if you want. Okay, and so nice thin slices. We're not going to be chopping, we're just slicing it. Okay, so you want long, thin strips. Okay, and we're just doing 1/4 of an onion, so we're done with that. Put that over there. And now putting down a new cutting board because I don't want any cross-contamination. The raw meat and the veggies I'll be cutting later. Okay, and this is 1 chicken tenderloin or chicken tender. It's a part of meat that's underneath the chicken breast if you're deboning your own chicken, which I'm sure you're not. You could also use a chicken thigh because they're about the same size, but this is the meat that I had. We're not too particular about whether it's light or dark meat or anything like that. It's just the size is what we're going for. Okay, so they're nice thin strips, not too thin, not too long, not too short. Okay, and you're going to put them in a hot pan. All right, you can tell if the pan is hot enough by putting water in your hand and then flicking it on top, and if it bubbles away, then you know that it is hot enough, and you just put the chicken in there and then just spread it around and start cooking it. You're going to cook it until it's no longer pink and it starts to brown. And it shouldn't take too long because we're just doing a little bit of chicken. Okay, see? It is all ready. Let's add the onions. And we're not sauteing them, we're just cooking them, okay? So don't add any oil. Just cook them until they soften and start to brown a little bit, alright? But they don't have to be translucent, just a little brown. Okay, we're going to mix all the liquid together. So we have our dashi and our mirin and our soy sauce. I'm just going to give them a bit of a stir to make sure that it's nice and integrated. And then we just add that right on top in our pan. And then we're going to let that boil. Okay, let's even it out a bit. Okay, and while that's boiling, we're going to crack 1 egg. Like that. Okay, and then we are going to beat it You don't have to use a whisk. You don't have to whisk it. This is what I grabbed, okay? So just beat it so it's all nice and a consistent yellow. Okay, and then it's reached a boil. You turn it down to a simmer, and you let it simmer for about 5 minutes to reduce. And after it has simmered, then you just pour the egg evenly on top. There we go. Okay, because if you add it just all in one spot, then it's not going to cook evenly. All right, so it's all in there nice and even. Put on the lid. Okay, and you're going to let it steam for about 5 minutes. And see here, the egg has gotten all nice and poofy. It's a nice poofy egg. So you will remove it from heat, turn off the stove, and then you are ready to plate. So we have here a bowl of rice, and then you just scoop it up and just set it right on top of the rice, like that. And you are all ready to eat.